and it is alcoholism. The reason why this is important is because we get so many messages from different people complaining about the fact that they have spouses who are drunks, whose this habit, how it affects their family, how it emotionally drains some people when you know that you're constantly having to wait up late for a spouse who's coming, or get a call from his friends in the bar, having to pick him up, or having him to embarrass or throw up. It was quite disheartening. You know, you've seen a few of these stories happen a lot. And we, at some point, we still have to bring in a psychologist or someone to help us get direction on how to deal with an alcoholic in our home. But this morning, we'd like to open our phone lines to even see and weigh how prevalent it is in our society. So let's get callers call in to share their own personal stories of spouses who get drunk and do a public display of their alcoholism. You can call us on 081-270-53687, 091-390-76948. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read the tweets. We've heard stories of this. A lot of people understand drinking alcohol for them has never been a problem. You know that it's something that is done casually. But when issues of life come in, you know, when things happen, people just kind of begin to depend on the alcohol. And then it gets to the point of no return, where they can become alcoholics. And we know of stories where people, that's one major albatross on the head of different people. How do we overcome it? I know we're not psychologists, but I'd like you to share your own stories. If you heard the stories or know of anybody who's been an alcoholic, who's managing an alcoholic in their home, how do you think they can begin to start a conversation to get help? You know, Nigerian people, we don't like to seek help. You know, we just have to pray about it and pray that the alcoholic demon will come out. But we don't take the right steps to heal these people of this condition.
What you just threw out, I went to the page of Dr. Shola, who posted this, and the first comment I saw was, "This is a spiritual attack." Yeah. And when we spiritualize problems like this, we don't get to solve the problems at all. We abdicate responsibility.
The divine.
This is a divine thing. It's a spiritual matter. Let us start praying to be sure of what is going on. But alcoholism is it's a real problem. It's a threat to people's lives. And there are people that are casual drinkers and they are addicts, and there are those that have alcoholism, a chronic disease. So there is alcoholism, a chronic disease where people cannot function without being under the influence of alcohol. They are always drinking, and they have to drink a constant, huge amount to be able to function. And then the functioning period is very short. And then there are those that are occasional drinkers, and a few times when they're among friends, it gets out of control. I had a friend who was a lawyer when I was really young, who said every time he has like 2 cups of even red wine, he would just literally pass out. Yeah. So there are people that their body cannot even take it, and some people will feel like, my body is so good, I can finish 1 bottle of 21-year-old something alcohol and they will still be fine. So there's the health implication of alcohol on the body. There's the psychological implication of alcohol on the person and the people around them. And then there's the fact that it destroys lives. So if we are dealing with the health implication, is the fact that you can have people that consume alcohol tend to have liver problems, kidney problems, all of those. Then the psychological effect in that people cannot, like the case of this person, said the man has lost his job, people lose their jobs, and then the emotional effect on the family. The woman is unable to cope, having to see your husband vomiting or your husband doesn't come home. Some people go and find their husbands in the middle of the night. Like, okay, where is he now? They said he fell in the gutter somewhere. Okay, let's drag him, pour water on his face, drag him to the house. And the daughter said, the woman said her daughter locked herself up in the house, embarrassed that my father is a disgrace. So in dealing with all of this, sometimes spirituality might help us to cope. But the real thing is to call out the issues for what it is. Yeah. Get professionals to help you.
Let me come to you, Mariam. Your thoughts on this alcoholism?
My real thought is, do we have Alcoholics Anonymous here in Nigeria? I don't know. Maybe because I don't know any alcoholics. So I don't know if there are clinics or therapy where people can go to address the issue. But first of all, is that you need to recognize that you have a problem.
Yes.
A lot of people have said that for many people, it's just not a bad behavior. They said it's almost a disease because you feel like your life depends on it, like you cannot function without it. So these are people that sometimes, for some of them, is that they are aware of the dangers, they are aware that they're embarrassing themselves and their families, they are aware of the cost it has on them, on their livelihood, on their careers, but they just cannot stop. So people like that need help. But also, I guess, in this particular situation, we're talking of a wife who is saying, what do I do? The question, you know, and question I think she's asking, maybe she didn't want to use the word, is, do I leave him because he's a drunkard? But when he's not drinking, maybe he's a good father, he's this, but then he has this bad habit where he drinks. Do I leave him for that? And if I don't leave him, how do I live with him? I think that's what she's asking. And honestly, from some of the things I see on videos and people complaining, many people tend to insist that person gets help. And it's a huge battle.
Yeah.
You have to be willing to work it out. It will cost you financially, mentally, emotionally. It's a huge battle. It affects also the children that you're raising. You're afraid that your children will not see this and pick it up as as the way to live their lives. Some children, even interestingly, would grow up hating a parent that does that and find themselves in adulthood doing exactly what they hated in their parents. So I guess spouses will be asking, do I just keep living with this person, walk through it, and hopefully this does not affect my children, or do I take myself out? I would say that person needs to take some time away from the house. I'm not calling the D word, but that person needs to, for the well-being of your family, for the well-being of the children that you're raising. And the person also needs to understand that it may cost me my family, it may cost, this is something that will cost me everything I love and I cherish, and I have to do something about it. So for her, I think, have that conversation with this person and see.
You said something earlier, because alcoholism is actually a disease. So by definition, it's a chronic disease characterized by uncontrolled drinking and preoccupation with alcohol. And there are various ways of getting this treated. One of the things is understanding the triggers. Something is leading you, because there's a casual drinking, but then something triggers it. Now, my question, therefore, for somebody a woman who's thinking, am I the trigger? Am I the one stressing you to cause? People always feel that they blame themselves, that I'm the one causing you, am I the one stressing you? So they feel responsible to fixing the problem, because they feel like maybe it's because of us, we are the ones causing this problem, making you drink. Okay, maybe we can help. And the truth is that women must understand that you cannot. It might not be you. There's something else triggering, and then he has to go through proper detoxification. And I hear that the medications for this, therapy, support system. There's got to be a bunch of men coming together and say, I am an alcoholic, I admit it, and I'm going to fix it. We see this is a movie. It looks like it's just a movie thing.
Partners, they have sponsors.
There must be a deliberate action towards fixing that problem.
Before our viewers call us out that we're using
only men.
The story that we are extreme was written by a woman from a woman's perspective. Of course, we know that there are some women who are also alcoholics, but in Nigeria, the prevalence obviously tilts towards men. Not that women don't do it, it tilts towards men. And so we're trying to help the women in this situation who are dealing with husbands who are always getting drunk. Now, you mentioned something very strong, the trigger. And that's like, life is about cause and effect. For every effect, there's a cause. There is something you are doing that puts you in the situation that makes that effect happen. So if we are seeing the result of somebody being drunk all the time, it could be maybe you are always hanging around friends that drink and can have capacity to handle or know when to stop. But you don't have the capacity, you don't have the
self-control.
The self-control and the discipline to stop at a bottle. So you hang out with your friends drink 2 bottles, they are very okay, they stand up, they go. Once you start that one, it is until you reach 30, you finish 1 crate before you're able to, when you cannot stand up again, they drag you away from the bar or that kind of thing. So you must be able to know, am I hanging out with people that are triggering me? Or is it when I get angry at work that triggers me? Or is it when I quarrel with my spouse that triggers me? We start with taking responsibility, understanding you have a problem, and then tracing what is the cause that is leading to you having this effect of being hooked on alcohol.
Yes. Right, we're going to go on a break. When we come back, the other issues we've not talked about, the financial burden of alcoholism, the emotional unavailability, and constant fear and anxiety of the family. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.